Hi, I'm YaYa, and welcome back to the Beginner's Playlist, the best easy watercolor tutorials out there. Today we're going to be talking about watercolor animals. Don't worry, the curated videos are truly beginner level. We're going to look at both simple animals as well as more realistic animals. And I will share the best easy videos on both types. So grab your brush and let's go paint animals. So first up, I'm going to show you some examples of what I'm calling the simple animals. Easy for beginners to draw as well as paint. So almost all of these are from your videos today. So this is one of um, the paintings, and this is the hedgehog. And I went through all these with the 4-year-old critic and made sure she recognized them all. And she did. So this one, again, it takes a little time to do all these little bees that she has you do, but very simple to do and draw. She actually talks you through drawing it. It's very easy. So next one up is a bird. Might be a robin. Doesn't have a full belly. And slightly different than hers. She used white on the tail, and I didn't want to use white, so I used some dark gray, Payne's gray for that. And the leaves could use a little bit more detail. But again, very simple, easy to draw. Looks like a bird. Next up is, I think she calls it 5 Simple Woodland Animals. And I really only liked this one. I liked the use of the space in between there. I thought that one turned out good. The squirrel is okay, but again, asked for real critic, and she was able to point them out, even the hedgehog, which I obviously like the first hedgehog better. But very simple, sort of realistic, but very simple animals. Okay, so one of the few things I can actually paint is a bee. So we're going to do a quick bee here for you, and I'm not sure how to describe the bee's body, except it's like a stretchy sack that you put some apples or oranges in it that's sunk to the bottom. So narrow at the neck and a little bit wider as we go down. And then the head is literally just a circle. So you can paint the whole thing yellow to start with. And while that's fairly wet, I like to go in with a little bit of orangey red and just put a couple dots here of it and let it spread in. Because it'll blend nicely while this is still wet, and it just gives it a little bit more texture to the bee. So we wait for that to dry up a little bit because I want the black to spread a little bit, but I don't want it to blend like the orange did. So we can come in and we can work on the 2 antennae. This is just black and skinny line and skinny line. 2 antennas. Same thing for the legs, coming down and coming down. Got legs on the bee. Okay, now that the bee has dried up just a little bit, we're going to go back in and we're going to put the collar on them. Just zigzag a little bit. We're going to put the bottom in here. And we're going to put a middle stripe in here. Again, very simple. Last but not least, we're going to come up here, and where the antenna hits, we're going to differentiate the eyes. So there's 2 eyes bugging out there. We're going to curve up there a little bit. And almost a bead. So while that's drying, what I do for wings is I take my sketching pencil and lightly draw them in, but usually I come back and erase them anyway. And I usually make 2 on each side, a little different. Here's one, keep them at the same angle. Make this one be a little, I don't like the point that curve down on that one. We'll just come. And then once you have them drawn, I again go back and lightly erase so you just see the barest of outlines, because we want to see the wings, but we don't want to see the wings, if that makes sense. So we're going to make them as translucent as we can. So again, using our same yellow gold we started with, we're just going to, what I typically do is try to water it down, but then I also take it, dunk it in my water, and give it like 2 taps on the side and see how it looks. And that's a little dark. Still has some black in there. Let's lift that off. Just like that. try it again with some of the gold that I want. That's more the color we're looking for there. So again, just fill in your wings. That little pencil outline helps differentiate them. And if you run out, tap a little gold on there again in the water, tap it out. I want to pick up a little color. And there's the wings. And that's about it. I want to put a little more yellow on that one side over there. That's, whoops. Put it in my dirty water instead of my clean. See, you're learning from me. Don't put it in your clean water when you're trying to do translucent wings. Put it in the clean water. Works a lot better. Yeah, just needed a little bit more color on that side. And we'll balance this one out so they match. And there you go. There's your bee. Very easy to do. So if you do any florals or landscapes or whatever, you need a simple bee. Simple bee. Okay, the second type that we talked about is more realistic animals. And so I learned a lot of lessons on this one. This is one of the assignments again. This is a hare. A few things right off the bat. This is too distinct. Don't care for that. The other thing I want to point out is when I started on the back, like she did, I had even though I was using #2 brush, I wasn't careful enough to make them small. They need to look like, as you can see up here and over here, what I switched to was one of my liner brushes. So this is an Acrylic #1 liner brush, and we're going to actually talk about brushes in the next episode. And so it holds a lot of water, which is really nice, but it does a really fine line. Here, let's wet it so you can see. Trust me on the point. You get a really nice point on this. You can do really, really fine lines with this. So when you need just that hint of hair somewhere, this is the brush for you. It's a liner brush. So again, this is one of your assignments. It doesn't require skill. It just requires patience when you do this one because she puts on so many layers. I'm not sure I kept up with all her layers, but there are a lot of layers on here. And it was fun to do, and I liked it, and I learned. I always learn from my lessons. So your second more realistic one is she has you doing a Labrador dog. And if you guys recognize this drawing, this is the drawing that I did last week on the light pad of my husky. So here's the picture that I traced on the light pad. And so I decided I wanted to paint the husky. So here's the husky. And I think it turned out pretty good. Again, maybe more hair than needed, but this is that same brush that I just showed you. It's the liner brush, putting in all those little hairs there. So the other thing I did with that to practice was I just took a test page and played with it and I tried some of my fan brushes. They were a little thick. I didn't like them. Some turned out okay, but I didn't want to chance it. And then I was using a fatter brush, as you can see, for some of the white here, and this was too wet, turned it gray. So I let it completely dry before I went in and did the white hairs. But just practice. Take a piece. Usually I have stuff on both sides. Take a piece and just play with it before you paint. Again, she was actually pretty easy because I traced her on the light pad, but it just took a long time to put all the hairs in. So you can either do the assigned dog that they give you, or if you have a pet and want to draw a pet, use the concepts. 2 of the videos. Let's go through the video list next. Okay, I'm calling them the simple videos are the hedgehog is one, the bird is the other, and the little animals that I had all on one page is the third one. So again, good practice. You know, I'm not going to be drawing the more cutesy ones. I like the more realistic ones, but they are there and they're good practice. So then I have a second list, and this is what I'm calling the more realistic. So the first one is the hair. And it says 30 minutes, and it probably takes so long just because you have to let it dry. Now, if you're like me, you can multitask, you get up and do other things and come back when it's dry. But that's the first one on there. The next 2 are tips for painting realistic animals. And so I stuck those in next because they were very interesting to use and talked about fur and hair and eyes and all that sort of thing. So I liked them both. I had looked at those previously and I reviewed them again before the lesson, and I still really like them. And then the last one is she's painting a puppy tutorial, and that's where I chose to paint my own pet. So you can do the puppy tutorial or you can do your own pet for practice. I had fun. And then an optional one I put down was because I like this, but it's just eyes, but she makes them look so 3D. It is a really good video to watch, and none of these are particularly long. So that's your videos for this week, and I hope you like them. Thanks for painting with me today. Whether you created a majestic fox or a squirrel with a personality disorder, kind of like mine, own it. That's the magic of watercolor animals. So if you like this video and want to be notified when the next ones are out, please click the like button and also subscribe. And as always, we'll close with YaYa's Irish blessing. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May your heart be light, your colors bright, and may you find joy and peace and the beauty that you create. Until next time, bye.